Aston Martin cars are true works of art. This company combined traditional handmade craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It is a name practically synonymous with the legendary fictional spy James Bond. But the company suffered serious financial problems and challenges throughout its history. So that's why we bring to you some historical facts about Aston Martin. So let's get started. But before we do that, please like and subscribe. The famous British automobile manufacturer was founded in 1913 by Lionel Martin and Robert Bamford. This company was named Aston Martin after its founder Lionel Martin and the Aston Hill where Lionel Martin scored his very first victory. Aston Martin's first car, which was built in 1915, was nicknamed the Coal Scuttle. This three-seater was powered by a 1.5-litre four-cylinder and was the only Aston built until the First World War. In 1947, the company was bought by Sir David Brown. David Brown was a British industrialist and the owner of a tractor company. It is believed that he made a decision to buy the company after driving the Aston Martin Atom. David Brown is responsible for a creation of the famous Aston Martin DB models. His 25-year ownership of the company would soon turn out to be one of the best and most profitable periods in Aston Martin's history. David Brown dreamed to win the most prestigious rally, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. In 1959, those dreams came true when the Aston Martin factory team won the famous competition, coming in first and second with the DBR1. The company also tried to enter the glorious world of Formula One Grand Prix racing the same year, in 1959. However, Aston Martin Formula One cars just were not very successful and the company decided to close the project. But they have now returned back to F1 as the title sponsors for Red Bull Racing. When David Brown sold the company in 1972, the new ownership was struggling with crisis throughout the 70s and manufactured limited sports cars. Things changed in the late 80s when this company was bought by Ford Motor Company. This change was for the best, as the sales of Aston Martin grew drastically from previous 100 cars a year to the record 700 in 1995. In 1993, the new Aston Martin DB7, a Grand Tourer powered by a 335 horsepower V6 engine, was presented to the public. With this model, the legendary DB designation was brought back to life, promising the Aston Martin's rebirth. James Bond has driven an Aston in 9 out of 23 movies, but James Bond first appeared driving an Aston Martin in 1964's Goldfinger, which was the third movie in the series. This weaponized DB5 featured machine guns on the front flanks and a rear-facing bullet shield. The film's success and real launching of the Bond franchise inevitably tied the car to its fictional driver and has gone on to appear in several other Bond films including Casino Royale, Skyfall, Spectre, and so on. Also, the most recent Bond, Daniel Craig, actually has a free pass at the Aston Martin factory. He can drive any Aston on the test track anytime he wants. Cool, right? Yet again, in 2007, the Ford Motor Company sold Aston Martin to a consortium of investors led by a pro-drive chairman, David Richards, a long-time appreciator and collector of Aston Martin. The company went for $925 million. Ford has retained some shares in the company even today. The Aston Martin models are still assembled by hand and thus produced in very limited series by today's standards. Hence, Aston has had a lot of different owners in its 104 years of history. And finally, in August 2017, a 1956 Aston Martin DBR1 sold at Sotheby's auction at the Pebble Beach conquers the elegance for a record-breaking $22.5 million, which made it the most expensive British car ever sold at an auction. This car was driven before by racing legends like Carroll Shelby and Sir Stirling Moss. So that's been it. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button and do not forget to subscribe.